Hello, friends. On this episode of the Adams Chetwood video newsletter, I'm going to give you 6 ways that you can fight against inflation in the event that we do see inflation becoming more of a prolonged problem. And this is something that we've talked about in past videos. We talked about the rule of 72, about how inflation really can be a very silent killer when it comes to your portfolio. That you not only need to worry about the value of your portfolio being preserved over time, but you need to make sure that your purchasing power is preserved over time. And so these 6 things are the most common ways that people will fight against inflation. Number 1, owning companies that have a sustainable competitive advantage, or what Warren Buffett likes to call a wide moat. And he always uses the example of Coca-Cola. If you think about it, Coca-Cola is really just sugar and water. And yet people who drink Coke pay a premium to buy their version of sugar and water. So that if the price of sugar goes up, Coke can pass along at least some of those costs to their customers. And that is a way that they can mitigate against inflation, as you as a shareholder of Coke can protect yourself against inflation. Companies that have pricing power and sustainable competitive advantages, those are the kind of companies that we own in our portfolios. The second of which is you can own companies that have a history or propensity of raising their dividend over the course of time. That is a way, if your dividend or your income from the companies that you own continues to grow by 3 to 5% per year, and inflation is 3% per year, then that's a way that you can hedge against inflation. The third is owning income-producing real estate. Historically, real estate has been an excellent hedge against inflation because landlords can put in things called rent escalators into their contracts, and those rent escalators go up as inflation goes up, and real estate tends to hold its value very well. One of the types of bonds that we are emphasizing in our portfolios right now are bonds that are called TIPS. TIPS, which stands for Treasury Inflation Protected Securities. And these bonds are issued by the Treasury. They're backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. But if we do see prolonged inflation in the economy, then they have a mechanism in them where the price of those bonds adjusts commensurate to inflation. The 5th most common way that people will hedge against inflation is to buy gold. Gold has historically served as a very good fear index, but as you'll see in one of the previous videos that we put together, we're not the biggest fans of owning physical gold. And we walked through an illustration of wanting to own productive assets versus speculative assets. And again, comes from my investing hero, Warren Buffett. The final way that we can invest to mitigate against domestic inflation is simply by having a global portfolio. I've told you before that right now the United States is trading at about 21 to 22 times forward earnings. When we look abroad, one of the least expensive relative to their earnings segments of the market are in emerging markets. I think I've gone on record here on this video series that I believe over the next 10 years, emerging markets will be the most attractive asset class. Right now, they're trading between 13 and 14 times earnings. So those 5 ways, wide moat companies, companies with a propensity of growing their dividend, income producing real estate, gold, and then international companies are all ways that you can hedge in the event that we see long-lasting inflation in the United States. I hope that's helpful to you, and I hope that you will give us an opportunity to help guide you to financial peace of mind. You can click the link below and schedule a meeting with us anytime. Have a wonderful day.